Hello, everybody, and welcome to the park. I am your host, Paul Rodriguez, and this is my personal audio log recorded content. And it's Halloween! Ooh, it's time to get spooky. Although I don't really have anything planned for this pagan holiday. Well, more the fact that I barely celebrate Halloween anymore anyways. Aside from maybe carving a pumpkin every other year or so. I mean, now that I think about it, I don't think a lot of other people celebrate it either. Maybe it's just a part of getting older and that we're too busy to really dress up and all of that. I guess also the fact that it's on a Tuesday, like some of us got work in the morning, man, and too tired to go out and party and give free candy away to kids. Also, I go to night school, so I doubt that I'll be home to give anybody candy. So all that candy that I have at home is mine. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, kind of a depressing thought because I always thought of my trick-or-treating adventures as amazing. You know, then again, I was only around 10 to 14 when I really reached the peak of my trick-or-treating career. My friend's family would have this great spot out in New West. For those of you living in Vancouver, always hit up New West for candy. I think the exciting thing about it is that it was a purely rich and gentrified neighborhood, and all these people love going all out for Halloween for the kids. That's how I remember it. But the thing about trick-or-treating out in New West is that every house has a freaking staircase to get to the door. So I guess that kind of justified getting all the candy that we were going to eat for the next couple weeks. And when I say for the next couple weeks, like, I really mean it. Every year during those 5-ish years, I would always haul at least 2 bags. And I'm not talking about shopping bags, like the little ones that you get at the grocery store or like a backpack or anything. No, I'm talking trash bags, like those Glad trash bags. You got to get the Glad trash bags, or else, you know, if you get razors in your candy, the bag's just gonna rip open and you're gonna have a bad time. I hope people don't get razors in their candy. It's kind of a stupid thing to have during Halloween. I don't know if people actually do that or if it's just a myth. But yeah. I remember there's this one house out there, and it actually had a gigantic staircase. I'm talking at least 30 steps. And it was always worth it to go up those steps every year as a kid, because you know what? They always gave a king size. A king size, not just a full size candy bar, like a king size, like double candy bars. Either that or a can of pop. Because, you know, as a kid, you're hella excited to get a freaking can of Grape Crush for trick-or-treating. Like, who even does that? Like, what the hell, man? You're just sabotaging yourself to be swarmed every year because you got all that good stuff. But I think it was just the giant staircase that put kids off from going up those stairs and knocking on your door. You know, I wonder if they still do that, though. Yeah, like, as I said, I haven't been trick-or-treating for 8 years now. Maybe when my nephew gets older, I'll take him out to New West every year. But yeah, you know, crazy good Halloween hauls. Yeah, moving on. I guess a part of it being Halloween is that there's a lot of spooky stuff going on in my life. Well, more of the fear that I have for a lot of things. And right now, I guess I'm gonna list them for the record and open myself up to you guys. So please don't try to scare me with these things. I will smack you if you do. But anyways, here's the first one. This is my favorite fun fact about myself, and I love the reactions that I get from people. Is that I've had a fear of apples. Yeah, fear of apples. And whenever I tell the people they would always like try to grab an apple from their kitchen and try to shove it in my face and go like, "Ooh, are you scared?" Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. It's more of me having to bite into an apple. That's what scares me the most. So the backstory is, when I was around 5, around when we first moved to Canada, I was by my lonesome in the living room and decided I want to get a snack. And I grabbed an apple from our fruit basket thingy, and like what I would usually do is I'd bite into the apple straight up. I wasn't allowed to cut into the apple and cut them into slices by myself. I was 5 years old. I'd probably cut myself with a knife. So anyways, I bit into this apple, and I didn't think very much of it, and I swallowed the bite that I took. Then I looked down into the apple. Then I saw something in the apple. I saw something in the apple where I took a bite, and there was this little gray worm just wiggling itself around like, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm here, my dude." And all I could remember was just being so shook, seeing that worm just wiggle around in the apple. I really didn't do anything about it. I did not do anything. I put the apple down on the table, the coffee table in front of the TV. I just left it there. It was there for the whole day, and I remember just not going back into the living room for the rest of the day, because I was that shook from having worms in my fruits. I had to watch my cartoons from outside the living room where I could still see the TV, and it wasn't until my mom came back home and put the apple away, because it was just sitting there. You don't want just fruit sitting around the house. Could go bad. Could get worms in it. But anyways, she put the apple away so I could sit back on the couch, and that's where I never bit into an apple ever again. Never. I always slice them up. I never want to have that feeling of, did I just bite into a worm? My stomach, it actually turns just thinking about it. Yeah. Another thing, probably something pretty basic, and I'm sure a lot of people share the same fear, is my fear of heights. Well, technically not heights, but falling. Like, if I could climb to the top of a building without the fear of falling, I'd do it. I'd honestly love to do that. I do get vertigo though, so I can't look down from great heights. So yeah, I think there was this one time I was in Toronto. It was the CN Tower that had a glass floor, and I could not stand on it. But I was really interested in looking down at the streets and just peering over the edge and pointing out how the people look like ants. And the only way for me to do that was to get on my hands and knees, just on the floor, and just peek over the edge. That was the only way that I was doing. There's no way that I was standing on top of that glass, despite how thick it is, and the info on the side says that it could hold like elephants on it, and I'm just like, I don't care. I still don't trust you. I like to be in control of my situations and not actually put my life at risk. And yeah, that's another thing that I'm scared of. And one more thing, well, actually I got two more things, but another thing that I'm irrationally scared of are hallways. Long hallways. Yeah, let's see you try to grab one of those out of your kitchen to scare me with. But yeah, for real. I don't know. I just can't look straight down a hallway, because I honestly have no idea why I'm so scared of it. When I'm walking down a hallway, a long hallway, I can't look straight down. I have to look at the ground or look at the walls, or if I'm with someone, I'll look at them and talk to them to to pass the time, the hall walking time. Sorry, the time it takes to walk that hallway. And I think now that I think about it, is this fear, it kind of stems from this one scene from Grave Encounters, which is somewhat of a stupid movie, by the way, but it's always my go-to horror movie. Like, I think I've watched it like 12 times with a lot of other different people, but there's this one scene where they're walking down a hall and it just never ends. It just never ends. Oh my goodness, that's truly a terrifying thought of being trapped in a long hallway that's endless. I do not want to be in that situation, despite how obviously irrational and unreal it is. I cannot bear to look down a long hallway without being spooked. It's too spooky. I can't do it. But yeah, one last thing is honestly one of my biggest fears. If not one of my biggest fears, the biggest. And I don't care how sad it sounds, but I have the fear of being lonely or being alone, because for me, I'm generally a clingy being usually, and I think that's one of the main reasons of me wanting to have people around me all the time. I'm afraid to have that feeling that there's no one in this world that would want to be around me, and I think that's just really crippling to me. And it has gotten to points where I have just sat in bed thinking that I'm just going to be left alone forever. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody's getting back to me when I text them. But yeah, and I'm not talking about just dating or having a relationship and all that. Like in general, like I've gotten so far with my friends, it's impossible for me to think about living a life without anybody in my life. No friends, no family. You know, just being in this universe alone, it scares me. Although, you know, I don't feel like I'm the type to make all sorts of friends and have like a lot of shallow relationships. Although I do want a lot of friends, I have been reaching out to more friends and wanting to catch up with them, because for me it's more the quality of the friendships that I have, but more than the quantity. And if I don't have that, if I don't even have that one person that considers me as a friend, I don't honestly know what would happen, like to my mental health at least. It's definitely something I think about a lot, but not really coming to the conclusion of anything. I think it's too depressing for me to think about, but at the same time it's something very important. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I think that's it for this spooktacular episode. I hope to learn more about myself in the next coming weeks, and I have a lot to reveal in due time. I'm also at I finished the first half of the first 20 episodes. So yeah, big 1-0, episode 10. Big shout outs to those that even made it this far. And I don't care if anybody watches this or not, but I really, really appreciate those that do. So tune in next week. Subscribe if you haven't already. You're not obligated to. It's entirely your choice. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Thank you all for visiting the park.